Good morning. This is Dr. Matthew Dunn, host of The Future of Email. My guest today, we've not met. This will be our first conversation, but I know his company. Darin Dawson, co-founder, president at BombBomb, correct?
Yes, sir. Hey, it's great to meet you, and thanks for having me.
Yeah. I was telling Darin before we started, just in the brief intro chat, that I'm a longtime fan of BombBomb. Can you give people like the top line view about the company?
Yeah, well, so we are an email service provider, but we enable video messaging from anywhere you're currently sending a text message. So if that's in the email space, we make it easy for you to add a video to that. If it's a text message, if it's in Facebook Messenger, if it's in LinkedIn, anywhere that you're currently sending a text message, we enable you to send a video message as well.
Now, let me test a theory with you. Again, saying long time fan. BombBomb made video work in email easily and early. Like you guys were doing this when
I had a server in a closet hosting video. We started this before the iPhone had a camera and YouTube was a public company.
Right. Okay.
Right. I remember when YouTube was begun and like, that's interesting. This really helps our case, thinking like this is happening. And yeah, it was 2006 when Connor and I had this idea that it'd be cool if we could send ourselves in emails.
Yeah.
And so we worked on that and we put a server in his closet, put a video on it and we didn't have and then pointed to that server and you play this video back on a server. And then we worked hard in those early days to think about, play in the mobile devices and in the easy insertion of video. Cause if you think even today, it's still the case. I mean, often you're making a giant video that is not compatible with the internet service providers that you have. And even then it was even worse. Today it still is because this phone of mine makes beautiful, huge videos.
Right.
So we cracked on that problem first, just, encapsulating those videos, making them smaller, encoding them, and then serving them out. And more importantly, we've always been really focused since the beginning on the recipient experience, more even than my customer's experience. Like when you send something to someone, what is their experience like? And so we would sniff out on their end and still do this to this day, what device they're on, what service are they on? And we deliver experience that they can handle, which made video fast. We want to have our core competencies are still the same. They have been forever. Speed the video and guidance to success. We want to make it easy and fast for you to send video. And two, we want to help you think about why you should be doing video and why it's important, we think.
So, one of the things that seemed to happen to your company, and I use that word intentionally, I'm curious your opinion about this. You seem to get captured by a couple of markets relatively early on. My read on it is that real estate, mortgage, maybe insurance, and I seem to remember maybe voiceover artists as well, but you had this,
That's
capture effect. I ran into BombBomb first at a real estate tech conference.
Okay.
Great booth, nice people, all that stuff. But I'm like,
probably me, depending how long ago it was.
What interested me is that it's a solution that's applicable to so many different businesses. And at the same time, you've got this enthusiastic set of audiences that are like, that's my solution. And I know that there are other companies in the real estate tech space that have specifically like, no, we can work with BombBomb. Like you've really got philosophy.
Yeah, it's interesting. So, early on as an entrepreneur, I was trying to figure out where are we going to get traction?
Sure.
Because you're right. I mean, it's actually a good problem to have and a hard problem to solve. Yeah. The addressable market for this product is huge, right? Yes. But you have to focus because we have limited resources. We are still self-funded. We have never taken venture capital and we're just doing it. Right. And so we were trying to figure that out early and we found and still find today, we categorize the people you just mentioned as the trusted advisor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Right. So if you're a trusted advisor, and that means trusted advisors, people like real estate agents, mortgage professionals, insurance agents, financial advisors. These are people who know something about a thing. It's usually an advanced level of information that they have and that you need to hire them to do that thing. And so We found three things in a trusted advisor that we think really video helps. One is that a human being is necessary in the transaction. So you need their expertise to execute the transaction.
Okay. Yeah.
Number two, it's a repeat and referral type business, right? Like they depend on you recommending them to other people. And then three, it's always something, it's usually a complex thing that, you and I might understand how mortgages work, but I don't know the ins and outs of what's going on when I need one. So I need to get someone with expertise. And usually that expertise is complex. Video does a great job of helping people understand complex things, right? We're human beings. We communicate face to face. We communicate relationally. And so those things come across. We learn things better when we have all the aspects available to us of how we as humans take in information. So we think video helps that quite a bit. So we started zeroing in on that. And you're right, real estate was a huge, and still is, still is the bigger portion of our market, and mortgage is right now quickly eclipsing that, interestingly enough.
Interesting.
Insurance, we have some very big insurance providers that use BombBomb, and financial advisors. So those are our key categories in our trusted advisor space. We have, SaaS companies, you have large companies, large accounting firms, but they're a trusted advisor too, in a way, right? So it's interesting. I think when it's complex, it's repeat and referral, and a human being is necessary, we do really well in those spaces.
Gotcha. And I would assume that the recipient appetite and just familiarity with the experience of, oh, I got a video from, trusted advisor Jim. That seems to have changed a bunch in the time frame you've been operating.
Right. It's kind of interesting when you think about this. We spent a lot of time thinking about it, that, okay, I don't know how often you see your real estate agent, or your mortgage provider, but those two specifically have an issue where you interacted a ton when you were doing the transaction.
Narrow window. Yeah.
Very tight. You're best friends. God, you thought you were going to be friends forever, but inevitably you haven't talked to them in a while, and they don't do a great job usually making sure that relationship stays intact. So what we help them with is ways that they can interject themselves back into your life, remind you that, yeah, I really like Stephanie. She was great. She's fantastic. And it reminds you maybe to refer her right now.
Nice.
Then it keeps them top of mind when you have a need in the future. So now I need to do a refi. I bought a house with this person. Why don't I use the same mortgage lender again? I often don't, right?
Right.
But it's part of the issue because they're dealing with volume sometimes. And that's hard for them to keep on top of that. So we've integrated, like you mentioned, with a lot of real estate tech providers and prop tech. So in the mortgage space, title space, all of it, to make that seamless for them to use our services in an automated way sometimes, but then also in a one-off, very personal way as well. So yeah, but you hit the nail on the head there. Those folks really have gravitated towards us over the years and still are by far, in a way, the lion's share of the communities we serve.
So as a pioneer in the space, because I think the mobile and texting has been added to the platform after email, right? It was email first.
Yeah, email was first. Yeah, absolutely.
I was just on a call with someone from an agency this morning. She was looking for help understanding what she could do with video in email for one of her clients, and I was explaining some of the practical technical constraints. Look, email can do this, it can't do that, right? There's no language, there's no scripting in email. You're not going to get full motion play, stop, pause, etc. in email. You're probably never going to get that as long as email remains dumb. So there's this hybrid,
within the context of the email.
In the context of the email. So there's this hybrid experience, which we're mostly used to. Oh, I see that in email, I click and I play it in a browser. It looks, it feels invisible, but they are two different environments.
Platforms. Yeah.
You're getting people to straddle it. Like I know BombBomb did this elegant job of sort of making that seamless. You hit record, you hit send, and the fact that the video itself is streaming on a web page somewhere, and the thumbnail automatically inserted in the email. Like you wrapped all of that stuff up.
Yeah, we really thought about that a lot. We still do. In a campaign format. So if you're doing an email campaign with BombBomb, we actually replicate the entirety of the email. Right. So we want that I think in other spaces, what happens is that that video loses the contextualization of the communication you have. So if you're a marketer
Yeah.
and you have a specific call to action, you have a link in there that you want to, drive towards, because video does a great job of doing that. I can go on a video in the email piece and I can say, click on this link below, or
Right.
fill out the form, or do whatever. It's fantastic at driving call to action. If that call to action is then removed from the context, I think, of the marketing piece, it loses its zest. Are you with me? Like, that's the problem. And so very early, we replicate that environment so that you still have your call to action in place. And of course, now we've added things like you can embed that call to action in the video itself, so it carries with you.
Nice.
In our one-to-one interactions, we do replicate. We go to a video, and both are what we call video page. But in a campaign, we keep the context of the campaign. If it's a one-to-one video, I send it to you and I said, Matt, what's going on? How you doing? Like, thanks for having me, that kind of thing. That's also played in a video page. And there is a transcription of what is said.
Mm-hmm.
You can have calls to action inside the video. You can have, there's a like button and things. We give you multiple, you can comment on it. There's lots of ways to interact with that. That all routes right back into your inbox.
Mm-hmm.
So you have, again, it's all in that same workspace. We want to work where you work in that. And so we've really worked hard again on that recipient experience to make sure you're not losing what you're trying to drive, which is some sort of outcome, marketing, sales, whatever it might be.
Right. What's shifted substantially in, say, the last 5-6 years?
What I think is really interesting is that when we first started, everyone thought you had to be like the 10 o'clock news, right? So they thought you had to look a certain way. They want to be highly produced. They struggled with it being not shiny enough, is the word I'll use. And so we were preaching transparency, be authentic.
Yeah.
This is about you broadcasting yourself to your people. The same problem exists for a different reason. And it is that social media has taught us that we don't look well. Like, we don't like,
Yeah.
it's the same problem, right? Same problem.
Yes.
I don't look like the newscaster was the problem 7 years ago. Now the problem is I don't look perfect.
I don't look like an influencer.
Exactly. And so all these things on social media give me things to polish my face.
Yeah.
And so there's a demand for that stuff. We're relenting a bit and giving them like blurred backgrounds, like you and I are both using
Right.
our virtual backgrounds, but look, we started this company with this belief that humans are intrinsically valuable and that we want to help them better communicate. And so we get a little altruistic or a little fundamentalist is a better word, that we think that you shouldn't do that, because typically who's using us is some sort of sales role. I mean, you're selling something to somebody, even if you're a trusted advisor or whatever. So we want you to be authentically you, show up with yourself and be that person to your best ability. We're not video marketing. We are video for humans to communicate better is how we think about it. So we're relationships through video. Versus marketing through video. So we're all about professional marketing videos, and you can deliver those through BombBomb. But the biggest use case for what we do is sending personal one-to-one videos. We help you create a personalized approach at scale. So we work in Salesforce. We work in these big environments to deliver it.
Let's come back to that one, because I suspect it'll consume a bunch of time. So big pin in the virtual board here. I wanted to talk about the ESP side of what you do, because that's not trivial either. I have to tell you, in the email marketing space, like capital E, capital M, BombBomb's not as well known as I expected. As I've started learning that space, I go blah 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 BombBomb, and I'd have people really know. So huh? What? I'm like, whoa, you don't know about them? Let me tell you a secret. Like, some of the stuff you're blowing your brains out trying to do in your existing platform is push a button there. So at the same time, you had to build a legit ESP.
Right.
Like, to undergird everything you do. ESP, I would argue, close to a CRM level of functionality.
Thank you.
Yeah. Tough
So
list.
you want to know about, that was not, we kind of got into this thing like, oh, dang, we're going to have to do that, and And like I was telling you earlier, I've been doing email marketing since around 98. I mean, early, I was a Constant Contact user and then a MailChimp user, right? Early. So it was always where I worked for a marketing agency. I worked for a TV station where I ran, the websites and the content development, ran the email account, all the stuff. And so, and that's really what evolved in this idea for BombBomb was working there. Like, well, why do I need to pay them $500 to broadcast a 30-second ad when I can broadcast myself to my fans?
Right.
I still am a big Seth Godin fan. But yeah, building the ESP, and we were going to all the HubSpot conferences, the ESP conferences, learning about this early on. Some of our very first customers ended up being churches and nonprofits.
Fascinating.
Okay, which really helped us build our ESP bones, because churches and nonprofits send highly desirable mail, right?
Yeah.
So their open rates are clean.
Yeah.
They don't no one's hitting the spam button on them.
Right.
Really helped us. So it was this crazy dichotomy where the churches cleaned up our real estate traffic, right? Like, it was like it cleaned it up. The church cleaned up the somewhat our realtor friends out there. I love y'all.
Yeah.
But you don't do very good list hygiene.
Yeah.
And that vulnerability, right? And you're like, my emails are getting through. Well, it's because you're spamming everyone. That's the problem, right?
Right.
But early on, we kind of leg up, fortunately, because we had so many customers that were in that space. And so we had great, beautiful email servers.
Right.
And then we learned that, warmed up. We still do. We still run a ton of traffic, nothing to the tune of what, some of their bigger ASPs.
It's not Zeta or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And we run all our own traffic, which is, we own that core competency of the business.
Wow.
We have resources dedicated to that right now.
Yeah.
Monitoring all of those things. So it became a very valuable piece of tech once it was done. But
that church, church and nonprofit, asterisk, hey, ESP running friends out there, giving churches and nonprofits a break is in your self-interest.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Now if you want a BombBomb account and you're a nonprofit, we give it to you for free. It's not that reason, but we just became more altruistic and
right.
We want to support. And that's our whole thing. We wrote a book a while back called Rehumanize Your Business, but our premise in BombBomb is we want to rehumanize the planet. Something we're doing behind the scenes is helping nonprofits. So just giving things away. We support some communities across the globe in our backyard. So that's a big part of who we are as a culture. And, not only do I want to help you better communicate as a person in your business, but we're doing some other stuff behind the scenes. It's fun too. So that was all part of that. Yeah.
Nice. I love the fact that you're still so enthused too, because it's a long road you've been walking.
It is. Luckily, I've been doing it with my best buddy. We just, we've been in businesses a long time together, and I think you can burn out easy, but we're able to lighten each other's load along the way.
Okay. Gotcha.
Really, that was my first marriage. Right. It's to him and to our business together, but it's still been fun.
So you mentioned the servers in the closet, and I have enough gray hair to remember that era as well, which was not that long ago.
No,
and
really
on this fast shift to cloud capabilities. Have you done substantial reengineering, like grown your own data center, colo, like? What's the super technical side?
I think we've been through all of those, but now we are hosted in Amazon services, and we have backups with Rackspace.
Yep.
Everything's very redundant, but the cloud computing technology, it's all there now. It's become so robust that everything is a typical SaaS company. It's funny. When we started this, SaaS was just not even something people knew. The venture capital scene was not what it is today. Like, you could not go to college for entrepreneurship or university for entrepreneurship. We learned very much in the hard knock. It's one of the reasons I think we're still self-funded is because when we would have taken money, they wouldn't have given it to us because there wasn't this ecosystem for it like there is today. And now, whatever we've grown, there's other pitfalls to take. So it's interesting. I always think about that. But we've gone through all these different iterations.
Campaign Genius is bootstrapped, self-funded as well. And I mean, I know it's cooled off. We're having this conversation late 2022. I know it's cooled off, but even when it was at the peak where we seemed to be doing .com 2.0 and people were getting cocktail napkins funded, and I would chat with friends and colleagues. They'd be like, well, why don't you go raise funds? I'm like, I've been around that. I don't actually like it. And B, it's still a 6-month pain in the butt. I'd rather work on what do the customers need? How's the product need to evolve, and trying to stop it all to go chasing an ambulance load of dollars strikes me as a huge bore.
I think we were fortunate that we didn't have the luxury, right? I really think that in the past that we had to solve customer issues. We just had to listen to the customer, and we still have to.
Yeah, yeah.
It's hard to do that. It's hard to stick to it. We don't always do that well, but we've always, I know I'm an entrepreneur again. So like solving customer problems is the only thing that I'm probably okay at.
That's what we're actually supposed to do, right? And I have watched with some amusement, sounds like you have as well, as entrepreneurship has become like the new rock star. Like 19-year-olds saying, I want to be an entrepreneur. Like, you don't even know what you just said, but okie dokie, go give it a shot, right? It's not as glamorous.
I think it's like anything when you read about all the stuff that looked like it was just easy. I think the lure of easy is often too good to be true.
Well put. Yeah.
It's tough. Building a business, owning it. Look, if you made $100,000 in a business that you started yourself, I would hug you and sincerely congratulate you on that job well done. And now that could be in our real estate partners or the same thing. And they're consultants or run their own bit or contractors, whatever. That's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to stay focused on that.
Yeah. It's hard to stay focused on that. And as the world does this fast shift around us and, new channels vying for attention and stuff, I don't know why I'm thinking of him, but I had a gent who helped me with a roof problem, yet relatively young guy. And he was telling me like, he's just chock-a-block busy. And I listened to him describe the cycle. It's like, you're expert up on the roof, but taking the call, getting back to people, giving them an estimate, all that side of stuff's like, it's not the top of his list of stuff to do. I'm thinking you're your own bottleneck, but I can't really tell you that straight out because he's justifiably proud that he's made it, his own two hands made a business and it's working.
Yeah. Well, scale is the dilemma. Always.
Always. Yeah.
And it starts right there where I've created something that people know that I do good work.
Yeah.
But being able to know that it's more valuable to me to hire someone, anybody, to take that call and get back to people in a timely fashion in the trade industry. Could double my business. And then, but do I need to hire people? How do I hire people well? Like
all that stuff.
Next level is so tough, and it doesn't get easier as you grow and grow and grow. And that was us, it was like Connor and I, now it's 150 people.
Wow.
It's like,
wow,
real thing. And you're like, I got to get smart people around me to figure that out.
You know that's a magic threshold, right?
Is it? Well, good. I'm glad.
You know the Dunbar's number?
I have. Okay. Yes, I know what you're.
So you guys are tipping really close to Dunbar's number.
I like it. I think my prediction though for the coming years for us is profitability is going to be sexy again. That's why I've been saying to everybody, like,
giddy up.
Hey, let's be profitable. Who's into that, right?
Yeah, who's into that?
Profitability. I am.
I've always thought it was a really good idea for.
I did too. But I think with the recency of free money in the economy, I think that kind of went away for a few years. Now, my prediction is profitability is sexy again. So I don't know if we'll grow a ton as numbers. We're going to see what's going on here a little bit.
Did the pandemic?
It gave us a boost.
It gave you a boost.
I give you my pandemic story. So we've been solidly in these trusted advisor categories. Really just, that vertical strategy has been working very well. Pandemic, man, boom. In that second quarter of 2020, we didn't know if we were going to have to, I had business leaders calling me like, are you shutting down? What are you doing? You're laying off half your team. I'm like, well, I'm not doing that yet. Like, I don't know, but we got inundated and we had a huge lift, right? And we had SaaS, like a lot of software companies, everybody was moving to remote.
Yep.
And we're like, finally video, right? So it really made us think like we should go horizontal more and leave the vertical strategy. And we did that, but then there's this retread now kind of back, and we've seen some people leave because it was a COVID solution. Now
Oh,
they're
wow.
back face to face. Yeah. So we positioned it wrong there, maybe in our sales approach in that moment. So that's just transparency of that. Like, I've never led a business through a pandemic. If I get the opportunity again, I might have learned something.
Let's not do that. Let's
I
not.
don't want to. I'd rather not. But just being vulnerable, I don't think we do this anymore as business leaders. We just like, it was amazing. I made a bunch of money. It was, and I did. But then there's another
It
a
sucked.
22, a 20, and we saw it kind of hit
Yeah.
beginning of this year, right? And so it's been an interesting year. Now this economic flutterings, but we found ourselves again dialed right back into our oldest customers who have been with us forever. And now we're moving more in the enterprise space in those verticals. And so I think we had the top 80 mortgage banks in the country as our customers, as an example, and some
Nice.
large financial advising companies, and proud to have people like Rocket Mortgage as customers, and
Wow. That's really
United Wholesale Mortgage is a large user of ours. They underwrite a lot of the mortgage brokers in the country. So great company there.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Now, I seem to recall from my conversations I took with your partner manager, or a couple of them who were in that role over the years. You were at physical offices. Did you have to, you yourselves had to do the adjust work from home thing on the fly?
Yeah, we have done all of that as well. Like, we could have a whole podcast on what I think about this. So we did, second week of March, I told everybody, sent the video saying, hey, everyone, we're going to go home for 2 weeks. I want you to come in. We were uniquely prepared for this. We're in Colorado, and we had developed a wildfire preparedness plan because we had to evacuate once before. So part of our SOC 2 compliant procedure was to develop a wildfire compliance plan, which everyone has laptops. There's no desktops. So you could just pick up and be gone very quickly and secure all at the same time.
Yeah.
So we flipped to remote overnight.
Nice.
We're going home for 2 weeks, and it was 2 years, right?
Right.
Over. So,
wow.
And then we had 3 floors of space.
Yeah.
And one we just renovated, spent a bunch of money making it amazing.
Yeah.
Downtown Colorado Springs, Pikes Peak views. And long story short, we tried the remote with a hub after the pandemic waned, try to get everybody to come back. It just didn't. And then we'd hired differently. The competition in the market became different. We also had the Great Recession during this time. Or I'm sorry, the Great Resignation.
Resignation, yes.
Right. So we did have some of that as well. So then you're competing differently. Now I can work from anywhere was the mantra. So you're competing against Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
For income.
Yeah.
And we're competing on East Coast, West Coast, everywhere. So when we're paying Denver type income. So it was an interesting learning. On top of that, you're going remote.
Plus, Colorado was the first state to do the required salary transparency thing on postings, which probably.
I love that you brought that up, because that was another hill for us to climb during this turmoil, right? The pandemic, that was the kick in the butt, I think, on businesses, was this transition to remote work, Great Resignation on top of that. Now in Colorado, we're posting what we pay, so everybody knows, and then there's a bunch of free money in the market that the government's handing out. Okay. And so now everybody's just spending that on competition for labor. It's just that fast. And now we're seeing that pendulum switch again, I think, a bit. Yeah. So I digress. Yeah.
No, it's
goodbye 2020 through 2022. It was a roller coaster.
Did you?
My hair was jet black. My hair was black in 2020.
Did you turn loose of some of that office space?
I'm sorry. Yes, we did. So now we're down to 7,000 square feet. Okay. And we have roughly, I'd say, 15 people showing up there.
Right.
We had some people that were diehard.
Yes.
That love it, want it.
Yeah.
We had a great culture. Every Friday we had lunch together, the whole company. So I am lamenting that. I think it's tough. I think in sales roles too. Look, when I was a salesperson, I learned from hearing what other people around me were saying. I think,
yes.
Gosh, we're going to have some sort of reckoning there. Yes. And so I've just said, look, you can be so most of the people that are in the office are salespeople in the office.
Interesting.
And a lot of them are newer salespeople. Interestingly, our top 3 enterprise reps, they never wanted to go. They always went to the office. They go into that place through the pandemic, and there's like just the two of them and 30,000 square feet. They're like literally, they saran wrapped my office, stuff, hooligans, shenanigans all the time. But that drew the younger reps back into the office because they were there and they wanted to learn from them and hear what they were saying and how they're doing things. So it was really great.
I think you hit on a key thing that, and I think you said it when you said reckoning, that work from home, got it. But you are missing learning, you are missing inspiration, you're missing.
I love it. I'm home right now. I love it. I don't know even personally if it's best for me. I love chocolate chip cookies. I love them. I'll eat them all the time if I could. Like I'd eat as many as I could. I'd eat the whole tray. That's not good for me, right? And it's something like that. I think what we like as humans is usually not always best. What's convenient isn't best usually. What's easy all the time. So I do struggle with that.
Yeah. And there's also what may be better for the individual human may net be not better for the business or the enterprise. Right. And for the moment, at least, we're trying to figure out the balance of that. And I don't think we'll ever go back to the same shape we had.
Agreed.
Before, but I think you'll get there are companies who've really mastered the remote thing, and they'll keep accelerating. You'll get companies that'll master the collaborative local, I can't wait to go to the office thing, I suspect. And they'll probably rocket in a different direction. I can't imagine like a design or creative firm trying to do everything remote. Like I've done it. I ran one. It's hard to get.
And maybe I'm just too, I just remember I liked knowing everybody there. I knew everybody's name. I liked meeting them on their first day. I liked seeing people casually and having those bump in conversations. So we just got to find something. And maybe that's just, and I think it is about your business leadership and the culture that they want to build. And I think it's okay. I think it's okay to say, I want everybody to come back. And I think it's okay to say, we're going to be completely remote forever. And that's great for us. But anyway, it's finding the fit for who you are as an entity and deciding that's who we're going to be. And the people that want to do that with us, come on in. Yeah. The people that don't want to do that, that's okay too. Yeah. That's probably not the best fit for you here. I think that's the best approach. As I talk to my peers about this, I'm like, we got to do less than this, right? Like what we feel is the best culture for our companies.
Yeah. Yeah. And I suspect there are some job functions that will be handled differently than others.
I agree. I mean, developers, I didn't know who they were anyway. They always checked in crazy hours and did it. Kind of created a cool environment for them to come and go as they wanted, but some of them did and some of them didn't, like whatever. Right. But I think product has some times where they'd like to be together more, to collaborate, feel the room. Right. But in sales and customer success, I feel like those areas, we learn so much from the environment around us and we can get better at it. I think customer satisfaction scores will go higher if people thought about being back together again.
Interesting point. I mean, early in my career in the tech space, I was in tech support when that was a phone function. And being able to go, hang on one second. Hey, Mike, how the heck does offset in Excel work again?
Right. Yeah. Right. Like, or like you're the manager and you got 5 people and like now it's just sales or CS because we still have some phone and support and we have, phone sales. And it's like, do I need to listen to every individual call? But a human brain can sit in the huddle with everybody and go, well, man, Jim, or hey, like,
wait a minute.
Hey, next time, try it this way. And we can do that simultaneously. We do have that ability, but there's no tech. If you listen to 5 calls on a Zoom playback or using
actually really good.
You're not going to be able to do it, right? Like, but a human can sit there and pick up on there's something about the sales floor. And if you've been in sales ever in your life, you've been a part of that. where you're all just trying to make a number together. There's something about that. And I think that happens in customer success as well. It's unique. Our marketers have always been remote almost, you know. Our CMO is in Philadelphia. He's great. He's always been remote. So, but I agree. There's some roles that will be remote and some that I think could be back again.
Cool. Switch gears. What, you mentioned HubSpot, and I'll just pick on them. Do you find yourself saying, someone's going to take what we've done and sort of jump on it and take a whole market away from it? Like what keeps you up a little bit?
I think, someone recently asked me that. I'm like, if you would have told me that in 2006, I guess I would have been, I was more concerned about then. I think what we do is unique. There's a lot of competitors in the space where there weren't before. I think it's in a way validated the market. I remember when HubSpot was small too, and so I don't know, or Google's going to do this, right? I think we're just gotten so niched and expertise, I think, in these verticals as well. And our core value of guidance, I think, is moreover the key to this, because it's not about the technology in video. It's not. I mean, you can do that, right? Of course. But it's about how to help people get over their fear of the camera. Because for whatever reason, when that light turns on, I freak out a little bit. Get over about how I look or how I sound in my head right now, and you're hearing me.
Yeah.
It's two different things, right? And so when you play the video back, we go, I don't like that. Your brain literally has this visceral reaction that says, I don't like that. I don't like how I look. I don't like how I sound. Like it's just this negative reinforcement. But when you receive feedback, when you send people a video and they respond back to you, like, I loved it. It's the opposite. You actually are getting an endorphin kick to your brain because people like getting compliments. People like hearing their name. We are human beings. This is how we interact. So helping people give her that initial hump is the job. It is not necessarily the video technology. It is the adoption of this as a new catalytic mechanism for communication that can transform your business. But it's kind of like if I unblur my screen, you see a Peloton back here. If I get on that thing, I meet my goals. Okay. I 100% believe if you adopt video as a part of your communication strategy, it will help you meet your goals faster. Right. But you have to adopt it and you have to do it and you have to be dedicated to it. Just like I have to be dedicated to the bike behind me. So
right.
I think that's a part of it. Right. And so I think that's our defensible position as well. It's an obstacle for us, but we've done well. We've written 2 books. We like to think we're the authority on this. And the first one is Rehumanize Your Business, Straightforward Framework and Tactics. The next one is called Human-Centered Communication, the Case Against Digital Pollution, because the pandemic did another thing. We just assaulted everyone. It was like the spam apocalypse. And it's like, and now we have artificial intelligence where now 10 years ago, if I sent you an email, you actually thought I made it for you.
Yes. You were going on the same path. Keep going.
Right? Now, I do this all the time on a podcast. I'll say, Matt, do you believe if you got an email from me, do you believe I sent it?
Right. Yeah.
No, I don't. Yeah. And what does that do? So there's no reciprocity. So it used to be, so this is what we teach, right? So this reciprocity. So if I sent you that, there's this reciprocity, like at least I'd respond to you. Now I have no reciprocity. I just go click, shift, delete. I don't care. That's not a real person anymore. Gina, BDR at XYZ company, has no idea who I am. That is a part of a sequence that is automated to get my attention and hope I respond. Yeah. So our premise is that send a video. Whenever possible, say, Matt, hey, it's Darin from BombBomb. I've been following your company, big fan. Listen, what we do is help people like you do X, Y, and Z. If you'd like to have a conversation about that, I'd love to have it. Yeah. You can click on the link below and schedule a time with me anytime you want. Here's something else for you that shows you how we worked with 5 other companies just like you.
Yeah.
Hope to talk to you soon. Hope you're having a great day. Bye. That's the thing.
Yeah. Well, I can tell we got close to the heart there. That's wonderful. No, seriously, that is awesome. I was on a conversation with a bunch of longtime email marketers, as I said, of beginning to know that world the other day. And we ended up talking about video and email, and I was blown away. 95% of the people on the call said, "Oh, I don't think I've ever gotten a video
Right.
email." I'm like,
It's still novel.
what
No,
the
it
heck?
is still novel. It is.
It's still novel. And like I said, call this morning.
If you've bought or sold a home, you're far more likely to have experienced that.
Yeah. That's one of the,
It's interesting, right?
right.
Yeah.
One of the has adopted it, and it's trusted advisor. It's also it's a set of professionals where the person is the person is sort of the brand or the point on the business, if you will. If I got a video from Acme Corp, that doesn't make any sense. A video from Fred at Acme Corp, right? Is different.
So I have this other theory, if you'll indulge me.
Yeah.
Or VC conversation.
Yes.
I really believe that venture capital private equity has a roadmap of how you go to market, and it involves a lot of just velocity marketing, right? So it's email, call, LinkedIn strategy that it works. It can't, but it's a numbers game, right? And it's just
game.
Blowing through the numbers. And I think what we're doing is dangerous. You're commoditizing a bit sales professionals when you do that, right? That's what I believe.
Yes.
So I was recently in Tucson, Arizona last week, in fact, with the American Association of Inside Sales Professionals. A lot of conversation about this. Like, the relationship you described shouldn't be reserved only to the trusted advisor. In fact, it should be to the salesperson's relationship to their customers. And we're commoditizing that. We're making it, I think, cheapened in a way by assaulting so many people. We call it digital pollution, just all this stuff coming at me. And so you're not people anymore. It's just like a robot is how I assimilate to that. I think about that. So I think we got to get back to that a bit, but we got to be able to scale that too. I get it. Like, so we've been working hard on thinking about how we scale.
Yeah.
Personal.
Yes.
We believe that we can do that. So
Absolutely.
how do we scale personal in sequencing? We're helping people write sequences in outreach. We're helping people write email campaigns now that they send to their past customers. How do we make their experience the thing that we care about the most, not about our company, because they don't care anymore. They already bought the house, or already did the mortgage. How do I care more about the recipient that I'm sending to than I do about my own outcomes? We believe you'll reach your own outcomes by caring more about them.
Yeah.
That's what.
Yeah. That scale thing, at the root of that scale thing is it's inherent to digital that making a perfect copy is essentially cost free. It's easy. So someone goes, "Oh, I'll scrape LinkedIn and I'll get 1,000 names and addresses, and I'll send them all the same thing." Like, I actually switched my video blur. I switched my first name field on LinkedIn from Matthew to Dr. Matthew, mainly because it gives me a surefire flag that some pain in the butt is doing this scrape outreach.
They add the doctor.
Yeah, they do what would be hi Matthew is hi Dr. Matthew. I'm like, yep, bullshit, dead, right, done. Right.
We have a lot of examples of this that we use in presentations. One is like, "Hey Matthew, I love Bellingham too. It's the best. Oh, by the way, but we can really help you." Like, it's just fake.
It's
we
fake.
know it.
It's
everyone knows it.
Everyone knows it.
But we're accepting marginal results. Used to be going to email conference, and it's like, what are acceptable open rates? That is not ever, has never gone up.
No, it's only going down.
Only going down. Okay, I don't care how big of a company you are, you do not have an infinite addressable market. You don't. So have you ever thought about the inverse of a crappy open rate?
Yeah.
You got 70%, 80%, 90% not liking you so much.
Yes.
Right? But all we do is ramp it up. Oh, just give me another fresh 1,000 leads.
Yeah. Yes.
And just crank them through and then do it again. And it's like, okay.
From a human perspective, your 20% open rate is an 80% fail rate.
Fail.
Often
I don't think we think about the diminishing returns that you could be exhausting your addressable market. And we need to treat these a bit better, or qualify them better, for the love of God. Qualify who we're talking to better. get more specific about our best, customer profile.
Yeah. And the blast, we keep, the blast filters are getting insane because of that flood. My morning habit in my inbox, disgusting but true. I know the keystrokes that do show me all the unreads, select all the unreads, and then I go shift clicking through the ones I'm going to keep. And all I look at is the from column.
That's right. So, and you go, do I know this person?
Do I know this person? Does it even look like a person?
Or did I buy something from them and
Yeah.
I want to buy something again?
Yeah, but
That's like 5 companies for me.
The go-to default behavior is like dead.
It's interesting because we've made it hard for ourselves, right? Sales and marketing, because
Yes,
we could go to this device. How many of these do you answer? If you don't know the number, I'm not answering it, because now all the inbounds coming on my personal cell phone.
Oh yeah,
and so I'm like, nope. So now emails diminish. So what do? What's our answer to that? We just do more.
Yeah,
we just do more. And I think, I just think if we settled down a little bit, got more keyed in on who our ideal customer profile is, and we spoke to the problems, back to what we talked about in the first part of this, we spoke to the problems that we solve for people in the kind of an old fashioned approach to sales that can be scalable. It can be maybe not to the velocity that you're experiencing today, but I would argue that that's a false narrative that will be successful long-term.
It's daunting to bootstrap now, my perception.
Right.
Daunting to bootstrap now, because even if I had the magic widget that would slot perfectly into the, crushing need that company X has, getting 10 seconds for them to go, wait a minute, you could solve this problem. It's like, no, I got to send another wasted, 5,000 bogus emails to get one person to read it. And it's like, oh, that's frustrating.
Like, I think events are going to come back strong because, right? Like in-person events and expos and the conferences, because the pandemic is this reverse reaction to that. People want to be back in person, but I think that's one of the best ways we've been able to develop relationships over the years. They're impenetrable, is that we built those in face-to-face at real estate conferences.
Actual people
or at these different, these different markets that we've been successful in the past. We know them, they know us, they know we care about their business. They can call me. Right. Yeah. That's how we've done it. So
I know what I wanted to ask you when you were talking about the humanizing thing, particularly with bigger enterprises that are customers. As I said, I've been around real estate mortgage space a bit. This difficult negotiation they have between wanting to arm people to be direct and personal and still maintaining brand control.
Right.
How do you help them with that?
Yep. Or even compliant.
Or compliance as well. Yeah.
Right. That's a big one.
Yeah.
So what we do in most of those cases is we begin with evergreen personal videos. So they might not say your name in that.
Okay.
They are personal in nature. So, we create a set defined group of messaging that might be included in some sort of sequence or email campaign or journey. And then we say, we actually coach on this, and here's email 1. Then we're going to put it, we want a 50% kind of penetration in that overall email campaign of video. So 50% of our emails, we want to contain a video, not everyone, but then that you can't just kind of slap a video in there. You got to write the email in a little bit different way. And so we coached on that. We helped implement that. And then we have this set group of videos that then we roll out to the greater community. We worked with a huge financial advising company. We're talking, 500 person rollout to go into 2,000. And so you have these set 9 videos that you want them to do. We have a little coaching script for each one of them. We have a kind of our Ethan, our chief evangelist, saying, this is how you want to deliver this video. He's great. He's been with me for 12. We've worked with me at the TV station, but again, guidance. It's almost like an LMS and learning management system environment. You have your to-do list, you got to do 9 of them, and that gets you going. Right. And so now, and those instantly are transferred into Salesforce or whatever journey mechanism you're using, and into the email campaigns. And now we have videos in those pieces. but they're kind of like, those are all automated, right? They're evergreen videos. So, and I'll give you an example of one I think we like to use a lot. If you're introducing someone to a new lead, or it could be someone that you want to work with, I think the one that comes to mind is of a mortgage loan officer is meeting a new agent for the first time. Often that's automated in their CRM. So that email sitting there in the CRM, right? So we have this email that we coach and train to. It says, hey, I just want to introduce myself. My name's Darin. Hey, I got 3 kids. We play soccer all weekend. I am up in Castle Rock and tell them a bit about yourself.
Yeah.
Because this is how people introduce each other. If I just met you for the first time, it's like, where do you live?
Yeah.
What do I know about the place you live? This is how give me an example. When you first meet someone, why do we change that? Like we change that. Instead, it's like XYZ mortgage company is the best in the world. It's like, no one cares.
No one cares.
What we care about is relationships with human beings. So training how to do that. We give you these 9 videos, but I didn't say your name. So I can use that again and again and again. So it's personal, it's evergreen, it's built into the journey. Then we do, our QBRs are how do we need to update that? How's it performing? What else do we need to do here? And we help them market better when we feel in a human-centered way. That's kind of what BombBomb does with our enterprise clients now.
Right.
And that's how we scale it. So we can roll that out to 2,000 users.
Nice.
Just like that. Yeah.
Nice. Wow. I suspect the wheel's going to turn in your favor.
Well, I hope so. I've been waiting a long time.
As we get, I mean, the flow.
Hey, I'm doing okay. Don't worry about me. Everything's fine.
But no, I know, but you clearly got a mission. It's not just about business growth. It's just, right now, you would really like to see less crap, more actual interaction, more relationship, and you're doing a lot of work to enable that. I worry that we're at a crazy breaking point in our attention, in our engagement. I'm like, what's going to give? Like, do you ever have the temptation to select all delete? Because I certainly do.
Oh, I do all the time. I do that all the time. Yeah, I don't.
Okay,
if I don't know you, I just am not going to do it anymore.
Yeah.
I don't have enough time.
And companies that go, wait a minute, like your customers, I'm thinking, like, wait a minute, time out. We need to invest in.
Yep. And I wish it was for the people that want to do that.
Yeah.
If you don't, then don't hire me. And you're not gonna anyway. And that's okay. Yeah. That's okay with me. But I'm self-funded. Like, you know what I mean? Right. Like I get to still choose that a little bit, I think. And so we can still grow our business without, killing ourselves, but have growth in profitable is the new sexy. Profitable's coming back. Like be profitable.
Yeah.
So I think that's what we should do. And that's what we're doing. So we're just going to keep doing that, and I don't want to relent on that. I think people want to do business with people they know, like, and trust. I've always thought that my entire life. I was, I grew up around salespeople. I like to say I'm classically trained in sales. And so how do people, when you get to the essence of it, how do people decide if they know, like, and trust somebody?
Yeah.
And it's a feeling more than anything. And like, if you have 2 roofers come to your house, and how do you decide if they both have basically the same service for the same price? Well, how do you decide? You decide because either a referral, somebody I know told me that is inferred know, like, and trust. They built that. Or you decide, I'm going to go with option A because I got a feeling about it.
Yeah, so it's the handshake.
Back to that.
It's the handshake and the chit chat, and it makes all the difference, right?
I think so, but I'm obviously biased.
That's okay. Well, we should wrap. I want to respect your time, but boy, I figured this would be a fascinating conversation, but I love where we went with it. I too. I'm very enthused by what BombBomb has done, and I suspect all sorts of continued like this. I think just for the questions I get about, different kinds of content in email, I'm thinking people are kind of groping around for, I guess I can't just keep robo writing.
I hope
so.
I hope so. Like,
I hope.
That must be somebody's job, but it can be so much better.
Last question.
Yeah.
Where'd the name come from?
Oh, sure. It's easy. I'll give you both answers. It's the slang term. We've been around so long. It's like, you're the bomb. That was it. But it was a young woman who told my business partner, Connor, that he was the bomb.com. Now, this is back in like 2003. And so we used to collect URLs, right?
Yeah.
Like you'd buy them and think, oh, this is going to be worth
I
something
remember.
someday.
Yep.
And so Connor had instantly tried to buy bomb.com. It was unavailable.
Okay.
He bought BombBomb.com and it is treated us very well. I was in Tucson, as I mentioned last week. I was getting a rental car, and the woman's like, "What is BombBomb?" And if I had just a nickel for every time I got that question, it served us well, right? So I like to have some answers that maybe are a little bit more fictitious, like, it's super clandestine. We are, it's a secret government agency I can't really tell you about.
I can't tell you.
One time I was in the airport and with a huge police conference, and must be going on in DC. And I was they literally bomb squad, right? And I'm like, yes, absolutely.
Wow. Love it.
It's been fun though.
Love it. Well, we'll send people to BombBomb.com, BombB.com. And Darin Dawson, co-founder, president. It's been fun as heck talking with you.
You too, man. Appreciate you.